podcast has made me rethink my life at times.
Well,
hello, everyone. Welcome to The Deep Drop, a fishing podcast that asks lots of questions, throws some answers on it, puts a spin on it, and it takes it in some areas that we don't usually hear in any sort of format. Adam Ring, Luke McCredden, ads. What are we doing here? What is The Deep Drop? Make some sense of it, please, because I certainly can't. I struggle.
we came into this podcast thinking that we would not only ask, but also answer questions. And though majority of the time we do give you our opinion on an answer, it's generally quite reluctantly. I therefore think we're probably the world's best fence sitters. Because we'll give you both sides or every angle at which we can attack any given question. And then we'll ultimately find ourselves kind of leaning toward an answer.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. You can go through all of the back catalogue of the Deep Drop and you can find some of these questions that, Luke, you and I are dead set right from the start. We have a specific answer and it doesn't matter what information we'll throw out there. You're not going to change my mind. But then there's a couple of little gems where I think I've got an answer. You think you've got an answer. And then we start talking it out and you think, I think I want to change my answer. Now, that is the beauty of this podcast. It is the beauty of this industry, and it's the beauty of this beautiful sport. And yes, it's a sport, not a hobby. Olympic sport, if you will. Go back and search it.
Yeah.
We love this game. We love fishing. We love talking about it. And we say it, and we've said it so many times. There's no specific answer, but we're going to give you every single angle. And then we want to hear what your answer is.
Because that's where we get swayed a lot, ads. We might finish an episode and put it out there, and we're proud to land on the answer we did, and then we'll get messages and comments on Instagram, and I'll go, actually, yeah, I'm changing my mind.
Yeah, good point.
Good point. Great point. But it sums up fishing, doesn't it? Because you can go out with a game plan, and sometimes you got to change it. And this is why it's so great. And we talk about it so often is you just can't beat fish. You can't clock it. You can't master it. You can never get fully on top of it. And that's why it's so great. That's why it's the greatest thing in the world. And we're very lucky, ads, that you and I get to call it our career, our job, and then we were able to talk about it on the Deep Drop and share it with you guys. And thank you so much, everyone, for getting involved and for giving us your feedback and input. Because Jesus Christ, it makes this so fun. We have fun, ads, and no offense, but I love hearing from other people as well on Instagram.
Well, speaking of Instagram, Luke, I want to go there straight away because I watched your latest reaction video, and I just want to tell everyone, I want to a little bit paint the picture for the people listening.
Yeah.
At the time of recording this, we are right smack bang in the middle of the NBA playoffs, and I'm locked in.
Yeah.
Now the NBA have announced now all of their awards, the single player awards for this year, and we have a Defensive Player of the Year. But Luke, because of the conversations we have and the way we think about things, I want to officially write to the NBA and I want to tell them that there is a new Defensive Player of the Year, and it's not Rudy Gobert. It's a massive bluefin that two gentlemen were trying to get a photo of that subsequently lost a phone and got hit in the bag all in the same time. And I think that tuna, rightly commentated by you, Luke, needs to be classed Defensive Player of the Year because he was definitely on that day.
It was a solid block.
And it needs to be acknowledged.
It was one of those blocks that doesn't just block the shot, but fucking sends it.
Sends it. And just unapologetically sends it. And a tuna can't smack talk. So what's the next best thing if you can't talk? You hit someone in the nuts. Yeah. And it's exactly what this tuna did. I loved everything about it, and tip of the cap to you because I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, we're having so much fun with that one, ads, and there's plenty. And like I said, I think last week, we've got loads that were being sent at the moment, which is awesome, by the way. And we work through them, but don't stop. Keep them coming because fucking, it's so funny, some of the ones we're getting. So there's plenty in the pipeline ready to go. Keep them coming. They're hilarious. Send through whatever you got. It doesn't have to be funny. It can just be weird and wacky and, or serious or whatever it is, but send them through. and jump on the Deep Drop on Instagram and check them out and give us your feedback, share them around. Don't forget to check out the deepdrop.au as well online to have a look at where all the episodes are living, as well as the Spotify players and all that sort of thing as well. So deepdrop.au is the place to find us online, and the Deep Drop on Instagram is obviously one of the best places to reach out and have a chat, which we got a message, Adam, and it leads me into the first thing I wanted to talk to you about, because and this came through a couple of weeks ago, and we sort of hadn't got to it. So I want to get onto it tonight because it's a bit of a thinker from Michael on Instagram. So thanks for sending it through, and apologies for the delay in actually touching on it. But we talk about tuna a bit, and it's very topical at the moment, particularly big tuna. In Victoria, there are some very big Southern Bluefin tuna getting around, particularly on the west coast there. Up to and well over 100 kilos. Yeah, proper ones. And we'll start seeing some pretty decent sized yellowfin in the next couple of months up the south coast and up around Sydney, which is awesome as well. So, but the message, and I'm going to kind of get stuck straight into it because it's basically a bit of a scenario. So here we go. So Michael says I have a good day and I catch 3 identical tuna. All of them are exactly 105 kilograms. The first one I look after 100%, properly bleed it, gut it, get it on ice, and when weighed, it goes 92 kilos. The second I just bleed, but leave the guts in, goes 99 kilos. The third we rope on board, no holes for blood to escape, we let it flap around, and it goes 105 kilos. One is delicious to eat, but not a barrel, in our words.
Yes.
One is not the best to eat, but edible and arguably a barrel at 99 kilos. And one is cat food, but a legit barrel. So there's got to be a factor to stop I'm reading this, by the way.
Yeah.
There's got to be a factor to stop the bullshit where, for ego's sake, people are destroying quality meat. And I thought, wow, that's one for the show. And Thank you so much for it too, because it's an absolute belter for this particular podcast, but even more so to for you guys to get involved and give us your thoughts on it. So it's a fair point, Ads, as far as people weighing fish. Are they wanting to make sure they crack 100 kilos so they're not technically worried about looking after it and keeping everything in it to get those extra few kilos over the line? What are your thoughts on that?
This is interesting, and it is quite topical because both on this podcast and both within our jobs, Luke, and both of our jobs, though they're in the fishing industry, are vastly different.
Mm.
We've had conversations and so many different parts of conversations that tie into this, and there's a couple of interesting points. So I was in Portland a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Went down the ramp and actually saw 3 big bluefin all come into the gantry. One thing I will say, now, 2 of the fish were taken on charter boat, and one was just on a private wreck boat, I'm pretty sure. Every single one of those fish that came in were bled, gutted, and gilled.
Right, okay.
Every single one. So I just want to preface any of this through a recent experience that I had by seeing it.
Yeah. All
of the work that's been done by so many different peak bodies, recreational fishers, fisheries, all that sort of stuff. The word's getting out. We're trying to look after these fish the best we can.
Yeah.
But this is very, very interesting. And we actually spoke about this topic fairly recently on this program, Luke. When are we going to appreciate the fish that are there and stop just trying to enter in a cock measuring contest with everybody else? Because I think that's exactly what we're talking about, because the answer's pretty clear. The fish that I want to see, the fish that we should be giving majority of the credit to, are the ones that are not only like S-tier fish, but they've been looked after and are being consumed in the most pristine condition. So those 3 fish that Michael was talking about, the cat food, the one that's okay and the one that's premium,
Yeah.
all the attention should go to the premium one.
Mm.
It should. And though, according to us,
Yeah.
technically,
Are we setting a bad example?
but not particularly, because technically it's a barrel. Because the fish in its entirety was 105 kilos.
Are people weighing that before they actually take care of it, if that makes sense? Because they're not weighing it on a boat, so they don't really know. Even if you weigh it bled, gilled, and gutted at 92, are you certain that it was 8 kilos of blood, gill, and gut?
Who I couldn't tell you. But
Yeah.
one thing that is interesting, also those 3 fish that I saw reported on by the shop that I was calling on. Every single one was reported at the weight, with specifying that it was bled, gutted, and gilled.
Yeah, that's fair. So then in the deep drop terminology, when we were talking about this, then do we need to have a I guess a section of the terminology that is for bled, gutted, and gilled fish that allows a 90 kilo plus fish to be classed as a barrel?
Or do we just stop giving any sort of love to a barrel bluefin that hasn't been looked after?
Maybe that's it.
Because
it. Don't give it airtime.
Don't give it in. It's kind of similar to some species of fish, you measure them to either full length or fork length.
Well,
so you take it, you go into the tournament scene and you're measuring a brim to the fork, not the tip.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of the guesswork out. Because if you were going to measure a brim at full length, are you closing the tail? Are you opening it? You can gain a little bit just by closing the tail, you know?
Yeah, so I've got a question. And it's probably I want to put it out there because there'll be people out there that know better than you and I in this space. The length of Southern Bluefin Tuna, how much does it vary when they're, around that 100 kilo mark? And what I mean by that is, are we going to get to a point ever where maybe it's the length that is the sort of trophy? Because
can't see it.
Because and what I'm getting at is because otherwise people are desperate to weigh them full and unbled, and they're just shit. They're useless. You can't eat them. Well, you can, but they're cats.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? So do we get to a point where maybe and the other thing with a length is you can release it potentially if it's okay. So is a 100 kilo Southern Bluefin Tuna a substantially different length to a 90 or a 110? So
I think we
can
tried
you
this
identify?
with snapper.
Yeah,
we
but
tried
no
it
one
with
cares
snapper.
about the fucking length of snapper.
Exactly. So I don't think anyone's going to give a shit about the length of the bluefin. No.
I'm still curious though. I'd still like to know that is there a solid enough sort of reasoning or basis to go off that a 100 kilo fish is 1.1 meters or just whatever.
Because you're right. If we really wanted to promote, I guess, the way we look after the fish and the way we harvest the fish at the end of the day, the trophy, you're right, has got to be a measurement, not a weight.
Because
I just don't think we're going to get around it.
You can never release a tuna if you're weighing it. Let's be honest, because you got to get it back to the gantry.
Yeah, exactly. It's got.
I don't think they release all that well.
No.
after that point.
Well,
an hour run back in from the shelf on the deck of a boat.
Here's another one though, and this is where it gets a little bit controversial and a little bit interesting. And Michael, I really want you to reach out again and answer me this. For some of these extraordinary big fish, does there almost need to be some sort of boat limit / slot limit? I mean, do we need to see? And Michael, I don't know if you had 3 fish on the same day or if this was all taken over the course of a series of
I think it
weeks
might
and
have
months,
been
whatever.
hypothetical. More so.
Okay, beautiful. Because we have seen it. We've seen multiple barrels come in on, on single boats.
Mm.
It's not, though no rules are being broken.
Yeah. It makes you kind of, yeah.
You think,
yeah.
how much of that is actually getting wasted?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's an interesting thing. If you've got multiple anglers on, every single one of them has a right to catch and harvest their own big bluefin. So it's a massive grey area. But getting back to the original question, what are your thoughts, Luke? What if it's 95 gilled, gutted, and bled?
Well, I just think I hadn't thought about it too much, and I think maybe now we need to have a bit of a line in the rule that says maybe we need to consider, or is it just bonus points? So if you bring it back and it's 90 plus, and it's looked after, and it's gilled, gutted, bled, obviously, then we just give you the 10 kilos.
I think that's where I'm going. If you've got,
or just call it. You don't even give it. You just say it's a barrel. It's 100.
Not even 100. Let's
just
ignore
barrel.
the 100 bit. It's a barrel. I think we've established that a barrel is 100 kegs.
What's the average weight of gills and guts and blood? Do you reckon?
I say here's the decision you and I need to make right now. What's the comfortable weight? What are you comfortable with giving barrel status to a fish that's been looked after to its absolute maximum capability? So gutted, gilled, bled, cord,
yeah,
like jam packed full of ice, like absolute like A++ grade harvest.
Or does it come down to how much ice you can pack into it? And that ice, the weight of that ice is what will get you over the line. So get creative. You got to get creative. Really cram that ice in.
Where are you leading? 90? 95?
Yeah. Look, to be honest, there's probably someone out there who knows a fairly accurate average weight of that stuff on a 100 kilo fish. You know what I mean? Might be 5 kilos, might be 7, might be 11. I don't know. But I reckon far out. We've done a full 360.
Yeah. I've got a number in my head that I'm comfortable with. I just want to see how close it lines up to yours.
I was thinking 90, but I don't know. I feel like we'll probably... In fact, I want people to tell us, like, what is that weight?
Yeah,
Someone would have worked it out. But
so was 90 the first number that popped into your head?
It is, but now I'm like, do we just... Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Would it be 10 kilos worth of stuff in there?
I don't reckon.
Maybe it needs to be 95.
But I could be talked into 90. 95 is initially where I went.
Yeah.
If you're hanging a fish 95 but looked after in the best possible way, I'm pretty happy to label it a barrel.
Yeah.
But see, this is why the deep drop is what it is, Luke, and it's so good. I was very, very vocal, and I'm happy to own it.
Yeah.
If you didn't get to 100, it wasn't a barrel.
No, simple.
But I do appreciate the fact that Michael's reading going, no, hang on. I shouldn't lose points for looking after my catch.
Mm. And I think it's fair.
And I think it's very fair. I appreciate it so much because it's made me think about my answer and also makes it very apparent that I've never caught anything close to a barrel tuna.
No, exactly.
So I think I'm happy at 95, but I want the listeners to get involved. I can be talked into 93.
Well, let's sit on a loose 95, and then this time next week, we'll have some.
We lock it in.
Direction from you guys out there listening, and we'll lock it away. Gee, I didn't think we'd ever sway from 100 ads. You were really firm on that.
Yeah. Oh no, I was.
Yeah.
It was 100, but again, this is why the deep drop is so special to me, Luke.
Yeah.
Because that is a very, very great point. We should be tipping the cap to the anglers that are looking after him.
We should be. Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I said, 95 is where I'm leaning. I can be talked into 93. It'd need to be a pretty compelling argument if I went to 90. But I want to hear from those tuna fishermen out there that have caught barrel fish and looked after them.
Yeah.
What would you say the average is that, gutted, gilled, and bled leads to? You guys guide me. I haven't caught big fish. I haven't gutted, gilled, and bled them, so I couldn't tell you.
No. All right. Let's get that guidance and lock it away. But great conversation starter, and thanks again, Michael. And anyone with these sort of scenarios, this is what the deep drop's about. If you're just new here and just tuned in, this is us pretty much.
Yeah, this is it.
Adam mentioned fence sitting, and I think we've done that for the first 20 minutes of the show so far.
We're asking you for the answers now. We've given all we've got to give.
Yeah, we've gone complete full circle now, and now we're actually not doing anything because we didn't even ask that question.
I don't know.
And and we're not even answering it. We're getting you to ask the question and you to give us the answers.
No, I'm gonna put some real pushback on you there, Luke. I don't think we've gone full 360. I think we've been given.
We always done that.
No. I think we've been given relevant, sensible information that's made me rethink my answer.
Oh,
always happy to admit when I'm wrong, or if I'm presented with a scenario that I haven't thought of that maybe changes my answer. It doesn't happen often. This is one of them.
This podcast has made me rethink my life at times.
Well, I also don't want the listeners out there maybe seeing this as a sign of weakness. Fly fishermen, I don't want to hear from you. You can't convince me fly fishing shit.
No, but you've changed a bit because you went fishing on the beach at night last week.
Yeah, true.
Now that's something I just thought you'd written off.
Yeah, I did
Permanently.
But okay.
I thought it was a prank phone call when you rang.
No, legit. I fished for an hour.
No, you're not. And you did.
I fished for an hour, and everything that anyone saw in that reel was true. I had wet feet, I had cold feet, I had wet balls, and I caught nothing. So that happened.
Yeah,
that happened.
And good, do you know what? Good on you. Oh, I'm proud of you, Adam.
And I'm just going to say, it probably won't be the last time that I do it only because I am dedicated to the fact that I don't want such an accessible way to fish defeat me.
Yeah, that's right. if it was catching cobia off the back of manta rays on stick baits, you could go, it's got me. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And you go, fair enough. Like it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
But you're talking about just catching a fucking fish off the beach.
But I guarantee you at some point, out there on the road somewhere, I'm going to stay somewhere at some point in time and I'm going to catch 10 to 15 fish in 25 casts, just salmon off the beach. And you're going to see your reel and I'm going to be singing beach fishing's praises.
Yeah. And mate, you do spend a fair bit of time on the New South Wales South Coast, and mate, talk about beaches for spinning. I mean, come on, you'd fucking want to get yourself into shape on that beach, mate. Because if you can't get yourself back into form on, whether it be a beach at Narooma or Eden or Merimbula or whatever, then mate, you might as well pack it away.
May as well, and I might just. Beach fishing just might be my arch nemesis.
I think you'll be back. I think
it will be
okay.
No, it will be.
Okay.
I will be.
Stay tuned for the adventures of Adam on foot on beaches. Yeah. I think at night, I do think you challenged yourself at night. I think what I'd like to see from you next time is first light in the morning and then fish that first hour or two of the morning.
If I was serious about getting a good bag of fish, it would be a dawn or like a proper dawn or a dusk sesh. And and again, being open and transparent, the only reason I went on that particular night is because air temperature, it wasn't bitterly cold.
Yeah.
Like
no, it's fine, mate.
I was wearing shorts. I had a hoodie on, but I was wearing shorts.
Yeah.
and I was comfortable. The water had a little bit on, but it wasn't bothering me.
Good.
But we'll see. You might
Right.
not hear from me in the middle of winter again. I don't know. We'll see.
We've actually been thrown down. I haven't even spoken about this because it happened tonight or this afternoon. We've been thrown down a couple of challenges recently. One from Lee Rayner. Lee rang me this afternoon, and he said, "I know you guys have put a bit of shit on fishing the Crater Lakes in the past.
Yeah, right.
A little bit, not as much as fly fishing or beach fishing.
Correct.
And again." And I know you've done it, but I think mine came from the fact that I haven't done it, and it looked like it was boring as batshit. But he said we're coming up to some good months. We're going to Bull and Merri. I said, all right, whatever. So, it looks like that's what we're doing. So we're going to spend a day fishing, obviously, and we're going to record a podcast while we're there with Lee to talk about the results.
Awesome, and I have in the past. I have spent a little bit of time fishing Bull and Merri, not so much Par and Beat, but Bull and Merri. And I've had some great sessions. I've had some filthy sessions in filthier weather.
Yeah.
But seriously, I've fished there.
Straight away, my energy levels just dropped even just talking about it.
But I've caught fish more than I haven't there.
Yeah.
But I haven't fished there for quite some years, just saying.
I'm already bored. And we're not even there yet.
I had to. Do you know what though? Okay, hear me out on this, Luke. Because I said it's been quite a few.
I'll do it. I'm in. Yeah.
It's been quite a few years since I have fished Bull and Merri, and I remember where we'd spend most of our time trolling. We predominantly just flatlining Tassies. We might have a drop weight sinker on a couple as the sun come up.
Yawn.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
So I'm stirring up.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Right up the back on one of the banks that we were fishing, it was just a cliff. It was sheer cliff. There was no gradient. On the boat ramp side, there tends to be a bit of a flat that'll then make its way into the main body of the lake. But over the back side, it's just sheer cliff.
Right.
There's also what looked like a little bit of a car track that sat out the back. And I thought, I wonder if and I haven't sussed out access on how you would even get in there, but I earmarked that as potentially a place where land-based fishing especially could be nuts. And I thought of everything from mucking around with, remember the old school, like the river fishermen that would fish the deeper holes? They'd have like the little burley cages that they'd fill up with maggots.
Yeah.
I thought something cool like that. Or going full yellowfin on it, sitting off the bank and just cubing bits of pilly and blue bait, and then just, when they stock, like, because there's massive Chinooks in there now.
Yeah.
Just hitting up a yellowfin burley trail off the bank straight into the deep water and just feeding strips of pilchard down a burley trail.
I'd run a Tiagra 50 wide.
I even went down the path of thinking, what if I had two rods that, and I want your thoughts on whether this would be legal or not.
Yeah.
Having two,
you're asking a terrible
two
person.
rods, like 9 foot rods, rods with like a 6 ounce bomb sinker on it.
Yeah.
That had like 6 or 7 arms coming off them just with burley cages on them. So, like, just setting up these full gnarly burley stations on 9 foot rods and fishing around the cage. No hooks.
Oh, well, why wouldn't it be legal? They're not rigged. I'm okay with it.
I reckon it could work.
They're like, I'm picturing those traps, those hog traps in America where they just drop the cage over them.
The chance of tangling would be immense.
Yeah. Could you? Yeah. I was going to say, could you do it? Have it sort of rigged so you can pull the rods, like sort of lever them down, and it lifts the burley cages out of the water once you hook up, so they're out of the way.
Ooh.
Sort of like a
Not
teaser.
bad.
When you're marlin fishing or whatever. Don't know. Just putting it out there.
But I thought
anyway. Well, I don't mind that. I think I like the innovation ads. I like it.
Some sort of out there burleying scenario.
What about a it's rigging up some sort of vessel, like a remote control boat or something that has like a trailer full of burley that just slowly drops it, and you just sort of drive it around. You could even, just cover a bit of ground and just have it set on auto that every few seconds it just drops a few pallets or a couple of cubes or whatever it is.
Kind of like those like burley boats that the carp fishers use over in Europe, where they sail them out and just drop a heap of boilies.
Well, yeah, same. So then as soon as you hook up, you just bring that bad boy home, so it's out of the way. You just fang it home.
Would 100% work. You just dump a load of like pallets or. It would have to work. I'm sure I'm making it way too complicated. You might just be able to hang a burley pot over the side. I don't know.
All right. Well, I don't mind it, but anyway, so we're doing that in the next couple of months.
Yep.
We are doing the winter midnight cod fishing.
Really?
Our friend John Cahill has thrown the challenge out to take us out there because of how much we hate the idea of it. So it looks like we're doing that.
Though he's got, I'm pretty sure John's got live scope. So shotgun, just keeping my hands in my pockets with pocket warmers.
Oh, I'm not casting. I'm just sitting there.
I'll be the spotter.
You watch the screen.
Yeah.
There's one.
Where? No. Carp. It's carp.
Carp. It's carp. I got some messages on the carp video we did recently where I was calling out that it was a reaction because it was a cool strike of a lure, and then I was like, no, it's a carp.
Yeah.
But there were a few Americans getting on there saying, why are you saying cop? I'm saying carp, but they thought I was saying cop because of the accent sort of thing. Anyway, that confused the fuck out of me for a while. Confused
the fuck out of them too because they thought you were fishing for cops.
Yeah, weird. Apologies that I sound a bit stuffy, ads. And to the listeners, I hope it doesn't come across a bit annoying or anything. But I've copped a bit of what's going around in this weather at the moment. But it also kind of made me go, it is that time.
It is that
Everything's cooled down. It's dropped off. The temperature's dropped away. The water temp's dropping away. I don't know if it's because I'm getting a bit older. I don't mind this time of year for fishing. And like talking about the trout and the Chinooks and that in the crater lakes and whatever, giant bloody tuna and all that. There's actually a fair bit to do. And I wanted to throw it out there, and I know we're in autumn, we're not in winter, but what's your winter plan? Have you got one? And I'm throwing it out to the broader community, but I'm asking you tonight as well, a question without notice. What's your winter plan? Because I think we're almost at the point now where we can do that. Like I know a lot of the boats get tucked away for the winter and whatever, and I think there's still heaps that you can do in your boat. And I know you just got to brave the cold, but boat or no boat, I actually think there's a shitload of really cool fishing, pardon the pun, that can be done. So I'd love to hear what everyone's winter plans are. So, thinking about from now for a few months, really. What about you? Have you got anything in mind that this cooler, these cooler temperatures and cooler weather patterns are going to bring you?
It's interesting because through quite a few people actually that I've spoken to over the last month or so, because we have had some unbelievably good weather. The nights are getting cold, but the days are still hovering around that 17, 18 degrees. The sun's got it's
still mild,
and we've had no wind.
I love autumn.
It's been unbelievable, the weather that we've had. But it did get me thinking about exactly the same thing, Luke. And one thing. Well, there's a couple of things. Fuck.
I love where this is going already.
I am actually determined to catch a few salmon off the beach this winter.
Oh, God. You have gone. Yeah, you have changed.
I know.
We're well into the 80s of the deep drop now, and Jesus, you've come a long way in those 80-odd episodes.
And it's only because, Luke, you and I were having a conversation during the week, and we actually relived a few of the highlights of some of our fishing that we did when we were kids, from just catching fish off jetties, and we actually discussed quite a memorable beach session that I had on salmon where we made a mad scurry to to a local tackle shop that I can't even remember where it was now. I don't even think it was a tackle shop. It might have been like one of those sporting goods stores that had some lures in it. And we found some metal slugs on the bottom 3 pegs just above the floor. And we bought every single one they had. And we went down to Williamson's and just dominated salmon for a little while. I remember that. And I thought, surely there's still got to be a few beaches around where I can have some sessions like that. So it did,
for sure.
It did get me inspired to think about.
Yeah.
One thing I've done it once before, and I didn't do very good. But there's some bream and perch fishing during the winter months that can be pretty good too. They get hard to find, but there's still some pretty good fishing there. So I have been thinking a little bit of that. I have also, Luke, been thinking about mulloway.
Oh, okay.
Now, there's a little bit going on. I know the fishing in some parts up on the New South Wales coast, the mulloway fishing for the last month has been seriously probably some of the best of all time.
Mm.
And it's got me thinking that's kind of got to be a little bit similar to down here. So I've been thinking over the winter, maybe trying to figure out how to tackle paddo with some live baits. It is going to be, unfortunately, braving the cold. I'm thinking about trying to drag my dad along with me just to keep me motivated more than anything, and because it'll all be land based. So
you kind of need someone in your right ear going, "Hey, keep going, son,"
and just picking key times, looking at the tide chart, just picking those, having a look at the week either side of a full moon and a new moon and going, okay, well, if I can get 2 or 3 nights done within that couple of week period, that's going to give myself the best chance. I want to try it on soft plastics. I want to try it on hard bodies. I do want to try it on live baits, which I've never done either. So maybe a little bit of that. We'll just see how putrid the weather actually does get, especially around those moon phases. But I think that could be something fun to try and nut out over the cooler months.
Love that
too.
Absolutely.
So that's where my head's at. What are you thinking?
Well, similarly, I think I want to have a bit of a crack at some local estuary perch and just see what their movements are this time of year, or in the cooler periods. The water's still pretty good in some of our local rivers. So when I say good, I mean hasn't dropped away too harshly yet. But there are also some dewies as well. But I'm actually thinking and I know we've spoken about it a million times, so I won't go on about it, but I'm really wanting to try the whiting on soft plastics in the middle of winter, just to see if they still respond the way they do in the warmer months. And, if they are a 12-month option. We know that they're there, and we know that they're very catchable through winter, and it's a great fishery. So I just wanted to see if that's an option, which I kind of think that it will be. It should be.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see if they hit. Yeah, if they, you said, behave differently to the plastics. That's going to be really fascinating.
Yep. And then I guess maybe trial a bit of that stuff that we don't really want to do, but kind of want to tick it off. The cod in the middle of the night, the Crater Lakes. Nah, I shouldn't sound like a dick about it. It'll be fun. I'm actually looking forward to trying some of that new stuff. Might try and sneak a little trout fish in prior to the closing. But even actually something I've wanted to do the last few years is actually fish a couple of the rivers that are still open year round. One in particular down west, the Hopkins River. I've never fished it. Want to do it? Reach out. Get in touch, my friends down that way. I know there's plenty of you listening. Not my friends, but maybe we can be friends and you can show me the ropes down that part of the world. But I think it's a great one. It's a good conversation starter now because we've got we've got a few cold months coming up, so we just got to be well aware of it, and let's just get on the front foot, fucking tackle those cold months and get out and get amongst it. So what are you doing? What's your winter plan?
That trout thing out west is interesting, and I'm going to call him out straight away. But Andy Smith, we're coming. I've got a couple of photos that Andy took. Him and I have fished that a very, very long time ago.
Do you know what? He sent me a photo of you.
Yeah, with the brown.
Yes.
The best looking brown trout I've ever caught in my life. And there isn't even a close second. And what was more embarrassing than anything about that trip is that there was one stretch of river where Andy's like, chuck a couple of casts in there. I actually caught a fish and got dusted up. A trout actually took me into a snag and
You got dusted up by a trout?
I got dusted up by a trout, fair and square.
Wow.
I still remember getting shit canned by Andy about it. But it was great fun. I've still got the photo. I still remember the fish. It is actually a really cool area, and I haven't been there probably since fishing it with Andy. It's a very long time ago, so that's interesting. I'd love to see what it looks like this day.
Can we post that photo on the Deep Drop Instagram account, Adam?
Oh, it's a belter. I was rocking this mad green DC zip-up jacket.
You're going to have to send it to me. I can't find it. I'm sure I got it sent to me, but maybe you deleted it from my phone.
I'm sure I've got it here somewhere.
All right, let's do that. But yeah, I think we've got to accept that it's going to be cooler from here on in for a bit. So, but there's actually some really good fishing to be had. Like I said, Sydney folk, tuna time. Now I'm really keen to get up, and that is one of the things on the list, is get up and get amongst some of these yellowfin that should be appearing, I think, next month-ish.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, a yellowfin tuna, and we haven't done this. Maybe we should do this on the show. Not tonight. Let's save it for another night. A yellowfin tuna, one of the coolest looking and just like baddest looking fish getting around, like a proper yellowfin tuna.
I reckon they're the best looking tuna.
But Jesus, where do we rank? Do we do a full fish rank? But like, because I just think they're a cool looking fish. Full stop.
Yeah,
they're the best looking tuna.
Yeah, I reckon.
Dogtooth are pretty gnarly looking, but I think yellowfin are cooler looking. Yeah, I think this is a whole other episode. We got to dive into this.
Write it down.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to write that down.
Write it down.
All right, we got plenty coming up because like I said, we've been set a few challenges. We've got a few things happening over the next couple of weeks, which you'll have to just jump on Instagram and follow it because it'll just be happening willy-nilly. The deepdrop.au is the website to go and check out all the other episodes and have a bit of a scroll through and see what you want to have a listen to. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining us. Feel free to go back. Go back and listen to Adam contradict himself about barrel tuna and beach fishing.
No, I've just become more educated in that time, Luke. Also, what the Deep Drop does, it's an education.
It is an education, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been an education for me.
I've learned how much I'm willing to change my mind.
I don't know if this makes sense, but I've learned how much I don't know. I've learnt plenty. And it's all because of you guys listening. Thank you so very, very much. We'll be back real soon. Adam, you have yourself a lovely evening, and let's get out of here.
Peace.